nothing here but iron ore.
Oh Lord, heard that before. In my whole damn life I've never been so poor.
Oh, gold fever got me on high, spinning my head with that look in my eye. Gold fever, out of time, gonna get gold rich before I die.
How's it going, everybody? We got Todd Hoffman, Gold Eagle, and Travis.
Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. I got Andy Spinks here, foreman. It's been on the show for years. Runs all the dirt moving in the mine, and just came rolling in last night from Nome. So we picked him up, and we had how many guys do we have up there, Andy?
5 guys, 5 of us up there, moving all over camp to getting ready to go to the Yukon. So
nice. Well, welcome to our show. We got a lot of our friends out there dying to talk to you, ask you a few questions, meet you, and find out a little bit more about what's going on. So, like I say, welcome to our treasure fam.
Yeah. So, Joe, you have a weird, a very interesting accent. You're? I think you're in the Bronx, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I was brought up in the Bronx. I worked there for the New York City Transit Authority, and I'm retired from there. So yeah, I live about 60 miles north of the city right now. But the accent, I'm never probably going to lose that. I get comments about it all the time.
Are you the only guy in the Bronx that like pans gold and stuff like that, or?
Well, when I tell people what I do, they're very, very surprised. And yeah, there's few of us around that are interested in panning for gold.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
When I a little quick story. When I first got my pans, I went down to the local little creek over here, my wife and I just wanted to try it out. I wanted to put dirt in there so bad. And some lady came around walking a dog and was questioning what I was doing. And my wife chirped in real quick, "Oh, he's just testing the waters for different things." She didn't want to say that he's looking for gold with the, she was embarrassed for me.
She was?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, man.
Because there's not many prospectors here in New York, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about your guys' show. What are you doing? You guys got some questions? We're going to launch a new mine, and we're going without the big networks, and so it's going to be very interesting for us because this is kind of a first. We were with this obviously Warner Brothers Discovery all these years, and last year we filmed with Lionsgate. And they're very expensive, and I think either that or they just didn't like us. But we fell into this budget cuts, and so. But to be honest with you, it's been something that we've dreamed about forever to actually mine and not have kind of that outside force, kind of. Riding shotgun with us on the, we want to film it, but we want to put the things that we want to put in the show, and decide that on our own. And so it's going to be scary because they do come with some perks, some machines, some capital, there's a trade-off there. So, but we're excited because it's something that we really have always wanted to actually go out and try and do it on our own.
Well, that was kind of like one of my questions. Why would you truck all the equipment and the manpower and everything up to Alaska when there's probably plenty of gold right where you are right now on the West Coast there?
There is the but every mine has like its own idiosyncrasies. Like you saw that we had kind of a melt. It wasn't really a landslide. It was more like an act of God, and some of our overburden melted. So but you know, every place has its own problems, and so this is just really wet. And to be honest with you, we really want to have a mine that we can kind of control and hopefully own ourselves at some point. And so there was a mine that we've been looking at for a long time in the Yukon, but we weren't able to pull it off. And we actually are actually going to take a crack at it. So we have a 10-year lease on a really nice creek, and it's up in the Yukon, and it's Clear Creek. It's where Tony Beats got those dredges out of there, kind of at the base there. And we know quite a bit about it through some of our friends, and there's actually some ground that was stripped a long time ago, and hopefully we could have a nice, easy entry back in to the Yukon by getting some low-hanging fruit pretty quick, and that's what we're kind of hoping for. But first off, you got to extract yourself out of the stinking mine that you're in, So
Yeah.
it's not easy. So Andy went up there. Tell me about all the things that you had to do, Andy. And
So we got there, and obviously moving sucks, whether you're moving your house or.
come on in a little bit. I'm going to shut the AC off. But we had to get all of our wash plant, all of our gear, cleanup room, all this stuff, and everything's got to be. It's not the easiest place logistically to get in and out of. It's 80 miles to town on a lousy daggum road, and so it took some great guys up there, and we took us 17 days, and we put everything on skids to go on a boat to go across the ocean down to Anchorage, and it's just going through everything little by little, getting rid of stuff that you don't need, selling it. But we were able to do it, just a little over a couple weeks, and then get it to the next place in time, hopefully to get halfway, a little bit set up this fall, still before. So come next spring, we're kind of really ready to rock and roll. Look at this.
All right, so we got a first question for you.
Yeah,
This
look
is
at
Rock
that.
Butcher. He's our geologist from Canada. He's done mining pretty much all over the world except for Australia and Antarctica. He said he got his introduction to placer mining at Clear Creek. And does Todd know Tony Balsinski? Basilinsky? I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
I would have probably remember that guy with that last name, but I don't know him. I guess it's a pretty long creek. There's a lot of miles in there. So we're about 45 minutes in off of the highway there. You're about an hour out of Dawson towards, Whitehorse. And so, but so I don't know him, but I'm sure we're going to meet a lot of people. We're going to go to Mine Expo here on it's the 24th through the 6th. We're with a company called Track Grip. We represent them, and they basically, instead, when you're on the ice, I'll let you tell them, Andy, like what it is, like how it works, how they work. And
so everything up in the north, you put ice slicks on everything. So you weld cleats onto your tracks, your dozers, your excavators. And Jack actually met these people a few years ago at a show, and they approached us, and they have this bolt-on cleat system that goes onto the tracks, dozers and excavators. And we were skeptical at first, and they're a phenomenal product. They're built and engineered really well.
Wow.
But you can put them on a machine in about an hour and a half versus ice lugging takes several days to do. So they're just an awesome product. So we got to kind of partner up with them, and it's been really good so far, and they just have a phenomenal product. So it's kind of what we like.
Is that where you're just replacing one plate with a spike
so
on it?
it's like a rail. Matter of fact, I think I have one in the basement. We can grab one and show you. But it bolts on, and it's got kind of spikes and a rail along there. Instead of welding onto the track, you just bolt it on, and it gives like 6 or 8 of them per side, and it gives you that traction you know, and Andy, we had him on 490s, 650s, and he can actually track up alongside and just kind of hang right on that ice hill because, you know, it's all
Okay.
ice. That mud is frozen, right?
Yeah.
This last year, though, man, we found some really kind of a cool caribou antler that, like, if anything could ever prove, I mean, we proved that there was a great flood.
Yeah.
We believe in the Bible. We're not following all this BS out there in the world. And Andy found an antler that was the deepest, craziest place to find a caribou antler. Do you want to tell him like where it was?
Yeah, I mean, so you got to remove about 18 feet of mud, frozen mud, to get down to the gravel layer, and actually the caribou antler was underneath the gravel. So your mud is the overlay of all the hills that were sloughed in, and your gravel is what settles in the bottom. And this caribou antler was actually in the gravel on the bottom, frozen and perfectly preserved. And so the thousands of years old that had to have been, I mean, it just goes to show, you know, there was something that happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a big bang. So,
No, there was a great flood that buried that caribou. I mean, that was an old caribou, man. Let's just say that was old. I have the antler and I want to get it. We want to get it tested because I think it's going to
Get it carbon dated.
Yeah, I think it's going to prove out to be pretty old animal.
Would you say your greatest enemy up in Alaska was the permafrost with all the mud?
We had our dozer blow up. Our motor blew up. That's where it first started. Our guys literally rebuilt a V12 dozer motor under a tarp in sub-zero conditions, and it was just unbelievable.
Two guys.
It was Dakota and Tater, our mechanic, and what they were able to accomplish, you know, was nuts. We were bringing things in helicopters, but that really, you really want to strip. You don't want to strip. You really want to strip when it's frozen. And so we missed, you know, it started out like that, and then we were just playing catch up, and then we had some unfortunate, you know, we had that slide a little bit, and so we spent this summer just reclamating. We sent a team in there for 90 days. Andy was in there. They reclamated. You know, and we have growth. We have a vegetation growing now already, and we just did a fantastic job. 100 years of mining, and nobody's ever reclamated on that whole creek. And Andy and the guys reclamated the whole thing. So it cost us a lot of money. It cost us a lot of brain damage and time, but we thought we were going to get rocking and rolling and be able to run some of those plateau gravels that are in the show. But just it didn't work out. You know, the TV bailed out on us, and then with that, you know, you lose some of your sponsorships with Matsu and things like that. So I'm the guy that created all that stuff. I'm the one that brought in Volvo heavy equipment. Like once we get going, and I'll be able to share a lot of cool stuff with you guys. But I need to wait about another 90 days to get completely out of my tail on my contract. And so
sounds like we need to do another live stream in about 90 days. We have some highlighted messages for you from people. This one's from one of your friends. Fred Lewis says, tell Todd I said, hey, spoke to him last week. Good friend and guy.
Yeah. So Fred, you know, he takes a lot of crap, it seems like. I mean, so did I. I do, you know, but see, you know, I just know Fred just by calling him and talking to him a little bit. And he's a good dude, man. And
he is a good dude.
Yeah, he served our country and things like that. So a lot of people can say this and that. And but, you know, he went out and went for it. And so you got to admire that. You know, it's kind of the same thing of the man in the arena scenario. You know, it's easy to throw stones at people. And but you got to admire his go-get-ibness, and I'll bet you that he's going to wind up out mining again someday. And once he takes
We got first week October, he's going to be joining us on a live stream, going over what he's got coming out in the future and some of the other stuff.
I wish him the best, no matter what he does.
You know,
he's
and that,
definitely a good guy.
A lot of people were on Rick and being on drugs and all that kind of stuff. People don't know, like, and people get on Parker, but then they think, nobody's better than anybody else. And so we're all idiots in our own way. We are all works in progress, whether you have, rock pits and millions of dollars like Parker, or you are like Fred that comes out of the military. We are all on our own journey. We have all of our own, we look in the mirror and sometimes we don't like what we see. And we have to get to a point where we can look in the mirror and we're okay with what's looking back at us, And so that's the thing, is like, we need to wish everybody that's in the mining community, wish them well for each other. Because at the end of the day, it's all of us against a lot of the regulations in the world. And, gold is going to be frowned on more and more as our economy collapses and the dollar collapses and all the debt that our country is incurring. It's like they don't want us to have gold. So like, we got to kind of stick together a little bit more and get rid of some of this hatred in different ways.
Yeah. Do you actually keep a lot of the gold that you mined as a hedge against the dollar and the economy collapsing?
Yeah, we that's kind of the point, Joe.
No, I'm saying because one of my questions was,
where's your gold, Joe? Why don't we just tell everybody where your gold is?
These guys know how much. These guys know how much I got. But one of the questions was like, we see it. There's a lot of miners in our community who own claims and work claims and stuff like that. And I'm sure some of them want to know because they've been watching the show and seen you pouring out ounces and ounces. We go by grams on with us little guys, but you're pouring out ounces and ounces, 30, 40, 60, 120 ounces of gold throughout the season, with all your costs, with the fuel, renting equipment, and the even the reclamation. How much do you actually walk away with? You can't be.
So you have the TV pays to be in our lives, right? That helps with fuel. That helps with parts. That helps with these things. Because of the TV, you get Komatsus, you get Volvos, you get equipment, right? And so that helps bring the bottom line down, right?
Yeah.
So you're offsetting it with whatever you do, right? And that's what we want to do, is just to be able to feed our families. But at the end of the day, our dollars are disintegrating. Go to the store, go and shop, and you'll see what's going on. What's gold at right now? Was it 25 something today? Yeah. Where are we at?
Yeah, a little over 25.
Okay, so this time next year it could be 3,500. We don't know.
Yeah.
So even if you're able to go big or not, if you can get yourself into some claims where you could possibly go and put a 50 yard an hour, 100 yard an hour plan in there, it's not a bad idea to think about. Because if this economy keeps rolling with the amount of debt that we're incurring, it's just inevitable that gold's going to go up. It just can't. I don't see any other path for it. So that's kind of the whole point for me. And I'm not like a big time. We're just small gold miners compared to some of those bigger guys out there. So we're basically putting a new. All we have right now is what do we got? We got a 40-foot container. Was it 2 or 320s?
320s.
320 footers. I have an old fuel truck. We have a Ford F-150. We have the Holy Roller. The Holy Roller is the best wash plant in the north because it's so simple. And we don't use sluice boxes anymore. We use these nugget traps that are they're phenomenal. And we have our 40-ton rock truck bed is our hopper. We have our static grizzly bar system, and that's it. So we have our wash plant. We have no rolling stock. We own no equipment except for a skid steer.
And a pump. We got a pump.
We got a pump because Barco pumps down in Texas are like us. These boys they bleed red, white, and blue, and they're just a great pump company. I used to be with Pioneer Pump, and all my buddies, we put them in Gold Rush, and their sales went from 20 million to 125 million a year, and then they all sold the company.
Oh wow! Holy hey. Yeah.
Praise God, right? So,
Yeah.
We got another question for you, Todd.
Yeah.
This is from Reg LeBay up in Canada.
Yeah.
He says, how big is the largest nugget you've ever found?
So we're always in ground that doesn't have super huge nuggets. But I just sold a nugget the other day for $31,000. But what is our biggest one? Is probably half ounce, or what is it? What do you think our biggest?
I mean, our screens are only half-inch.
Yeah.
Screens, so yeah, half to 3/4 ounce nugget. But the property that we're on has bigger ones. We just didn't have screens that were big enough.
Yeah.
You know, we were trying to figure out what to do that. But the problem is that most guys, when you have nuggets, guys will go broke trying to catch them.
Yeah.
A jar of fine gold's worth a lot more than a jar of nuggets. The nuggets are intriguing, and everybody likes to catch them. But most of the ground that we've ever mined is all fine gold, fine placer.
You got to decide when you're processing the amount of material. I mean, we're running 300 yards an hour, right? So you can design your system to catch anything smaller than like a half-inch minus, right? If you start getting where you're trying to catch the bigger nuggets, right, you're going to slow down the whole process. And in the end, if you added it up, how many really big nuggets there are, and then designing your whole system to encapsulate that type of a catch, you're going to slow yourself down. And at the end of the year, you're going to be down a lot of gold. So we've designed ours. Our screen, our punch plate is a half-inch minus. And so if it's a nugget bigger than a half-inch, she's going out the end. So we don't want to know about it. If we lost the big one, we don't want to know about it. So,
What's your process for choosing new ground?
So history, we've had some drill holes that were on this property. My buddy actually mined a strip of it, so I know really what's in that strip. And it's running between 1 to 2 ounces a 100, which is fantastic. And if it's easy to get, it's definitely great ground. So that's it. And having a mine owner that you really trust and enjoyed, to do business with, because shit happens, and sometimes you got to take your plan, and you got to anyways, this guy is a friend of the family, and he comes and stays here. We've known him for a lot of years, and I really trust the man, and that's
Nice.
part of it too, because you got to have people that you like to be around and trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of that, here's the next question. Nick, Prospecting 406 from Montana, says, when choosing landowner, and crew, what is your process, and is family and friends best versus strangers?
Man, this personnel up there is really tough. Andy runs the crew. I've watched Andy from the start to where he is now, and his leadership ability has taken off a lot. And it comes from problems. I mean, we've had fist fights. We've had
Yeah.
guys hitting guys with shovels, so
Oh.
what do you think it is, Andy, when what makes the best guys for your crew, you think?
The biggest problems is that the isolation messes with guys a lot, messes with their head after months. And they can all tell you whatever they want to tell you, but there's not very many that can do it and be isolated. But really what I like to have is I like to have a younger guy who's single, doesn't have a girlfriend, he's not trying to reinvent the wheel, and he doesn't say a whole lot, and he just wants to work. You get guys that are experienced in a lot of things. Those a lot of times can be guys that, oh, I'm a phenomenal operator, or I'm a phenomenal mechanic, or whatever it is. They won't change, or they won't try to adapt to what it is that you're trying to do, because we take for a few months, and we meet at 7:30 every morning for breakfast, and they work until midnight, 6 days a week. And if I can get a little bit more out of them, I'll get a little bit more out of them. But they're half brain dead by the time they're done. And so, but then they get isolated. They start missing their girlfriend. They start thinking about their buddies are barbecuing. It's just crazy how the mind. So personnel really in the mining side of it is probably really the biggest struggle. It's not mining the ground. Everything's in timing, and there's steps to everything. And if you do the steps right, you're good. If you miss a step or you get behind, you're going to fight it. And then you got to keep going. So,
Yeah.
One thing, when you leave, you kind of think, oh man, everybody's missing me at home. They don't. Yeah. I'm sorry, but they don't. Everybody's got their own life. Everybody's, you think you're out there isolated, you've gone to war, and everybody's just waiting. And, they realize, me and Annie tell them, hey, nobody cares about you right now. Like, this is your new family. Yeah. So get up, tell some jokes, be part of the team, because we're going to move some dirt, and it's going to be monotonous. Some of the squirrel, like we had, loader Kevin, he was with us. Hopefully he's not watching this, but you don't want to have guys that are trying to figure out all the world's problems, that have to sit in a cab of a truck for 12, 14 hours. You need guys that are okay with where they're at. They enjoy being in the mine. They enjoy being part of the team, and they do the same things. They don't lose track of what's going on, and they jive and mesh with the rest of the team. Because you get one guy, and the whole thing goes to shit. It's like, and you got to send them home. And we've had to send several guys home because they just didn't fit in, man. And then eventually somebody's going to knock them out, and you try to send them on their way,
One
All
thing
right, so
I
we do
want to. Oh, sorry. I just had.
I was going to read Samurai's thing.
Oh, okay.
Get it off this channel. All right, so Hillbilly Samurai, he's one of our streaming partners. He found Gold Rush in the hospital after he had brain surgery. Been watched every season while recovering and haven't missed one since. He really, really loves you. He talks about us backstage, but he makes custom pens, and his pens are super cool. When we send you your T-shirt, he wants to include a pen that he made.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sorry about your brain surgery. I probably need some. I got a lot of brain issues right now. Feels like after this last year. It's hard. It took a lot out of me this year. Andy, without having Andy come in and pull up the slack on and do the things that he did, I don't know. I feel like the dream is still alive for us because of his efforts. And so, yes, we have a great team around him, but you got to have somebody that's really nice to have somebody that you get into a fight and nobody runs. They'll fight back to back with whatever the foe is. And that's where we're at. We literally have no equipment. We don't have like a ton of money. We have this little tiny bit of money. Like we're looking at a service truck, and we're looking at stuff, and it's like, it's kind of fun because kind of like back in the day when we were start from scratch. And so this is why I'm on here with you guys, is because I want to share how we're going to put this together. And when we get up there, how you're going to set the ponds up, where are we going to start? Because there's some secrets of this creek, guys, that we found out that we think that there's 5,000 to 6,000 ounces, like low hanging fruit, guys. $10, $12 million that we could get our hands on probably in the first 24 months. So
we might have to have a spring dirt fling up there.
Yeah, we might have to spring dirt fling it up with Todd.
I think so.
Not sure what you guys do in your personal time. That sounds a little strange, but that sounds fun, I guess. What do you think? That sounded weird. What is a spring dirt fling, Andy? What is that?
I mean, we haven't done that. I've heard that one. I mean, why not?
So when I first started, I hosted an event down in North Carolina, and I had people come from all over the world, and they learn how to pan, set up a sluice, run a high banker, trommel. They get to use a large wash plant, not as big as your guys's, but it's still pretty awesome. Joe actually came down for the first year, and he's been coming back ever since.
Wow.
We just call it the spring dirt fling because it's a party, a bunch of people getting together and experiencing stuff, and getting to, like, people we see on YouTube that see us, they come and meet us in person and hang out. We had a couple different subscribers come. They get some pay dirt from the mine and pan, and you meet some really, really good people.
Yeah.
It's always been our dream in all of this is to include people in all of this. And it's kind of like, and that's why some of it's so exciting now, because it's like we're starting over, except we're starting over with a lot of knowledge of everything that we've done wrong up to this point. And it's like, so that's, I love it. And it's a new adventure, and that's part of it. But it's just a bunch of normal guys that just have a dream. And it's like, we're either just dumb enough to go try it again or crazy enough, or whatever you want to call it, but it's still a dream. And that's what this country was built on. It was dreams, So
have you guys ever thought of or considered selling pay dirt to the run of the mill Joe like me out there, who I don't have very much access to get gold, so I do my postal prospecting. I get pay dirt from different parts of the country. And I'd sure like to have a bag of Hoffman gold coming from the Yukon. That would be
awesome.
Let's get into the good stuff, the juicy gold pay dirt, and then we'll bag it up, because I think you guys are going to be a little surprised about some of the stuff that we find. Then we'll give you some of the good stuff.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I don't want to give you some dirt and sprinkle a little gold in it. You get into that bottom stuff where Andy gets down right on that bedrock and scratching through there. That stuff's going to be juicy. It'll stink like mastodon shit. Then
then you know you're in the money.
Like, your wife's going to go, "What the hell is that?" And you're going to be like, "That's the good stuff."
And
That's what good stuff smells like.
And he's got the nose for finding gold. That's for sure.
Especially for mastodon shit.
Yeah. So there's a question. Do we keep in touch with anybody in the show? Tony Beats and I are friends, but not really. I'm friends with Freddie Dodge, Juan, those guys, but not really. Dave's over here, lives by us. I saw him at the golf course and talked to him a little bit the other day, but not so much, like when you get involved in stuff like this, we're trying to stay married and stuff. So it's like, you get any extra time, you're with your family and your wives.
Yeah.
And we're 55. We've already gone around. We've already done all that stuff. I started Gold Rush, it's not like I don't care. And we don't care about fame. We care about people, and whatever the fame can do to help push our mining and stuff forward, we care about that. We really care about saying things like, Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. And it's like, I'm going to say that. I don't care about. This is what's going to be beautiful about our new show. And if there's a fight, it's in there, but I'm going to say some of the real stuff that I want to say, and just let the chips fall where it will. I mean, if we're only on this earth for a certain period of time, and then we're going to be standing before God, and all your gold and all your money and all your fame is zero. It means zero to God. It means nothing. What means something is what we're doing right here, what we're doing, what we're saying, how we're acting, how we're sharing. I baptized the guy in my pool the other night. I don't know the guy. He felt like he was dry. He felt like he wanted to rededicate his life to God, and I said, "Come to my pool." But I have like a really nice house, like a mini mansion and a pool. But is that mine? No, it's the Lord's. He loaned it to me for a minute. It's like I'm going to be gone. I mean, we're not taking this stuff with us, boys.
No, exactly.
So we got a message coming. We got a message for you from the Weather Channel. This is from the AU Twins and Frozen Gold on the Weather Channel. They said, Todd, we would love to come mine with you. Thanks for all you do for the mining and prospecting community. AU Twins, Kimberly and Tiffany.
Oh, wow. See, this is what I'm saying. Like Heavy D, I think it might come up to the mine. Whistling Diesel wants to come up to the mine.
Travis.
How about we open stuff up? Travis says he wants to come up, and
that's right.
And it's just okay, come on up, like, right? So
out of thousands of questions,
all this bullshit about my dad retiring and all that, he's not retiring. We had breakfast with. He's got a he knows we're going to the Yukon. He already bought a trailer. He's coming.
He's ready.
Yeah,
he's ready.
And Thurber was here the other day. His wife had gallbladder surgery, and it really worried him and stuff. And
I got a quick question for you about Serba. Has he ever dyed that mustache?
You know what? It's kind of turning gray, but like for years it just stayed black. And like people would always say, "Did you dye that?" Thurber was raised with like all a bunch of sisters, and I don't know what happened to his dad. His dad's gone. And so like it was kind of hard growing up, and he got into this is I tell this story and people are like, he got in the 80s, and cocaine started coming. Thurber was a cocaine dealer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Was he? What?
Yes. And it's like, he probably won't see this because he can't seem to run any of his social. He can't get online, and somebody will tell him though, like, "Hey, Thurber, right?" So, but him and his wife are great. He's got 2 kids. They kind of were up at the mine when we were kids too, and so, but he's kind of like our uncle,
He's been with you from the start, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had lost his job, and I saw him at church, and I said, "Hey, you want to go north with me?" And I go, "Listen, I got no money. We're going to go up. Yeah, I started a reality show. I have no idea how this is going to go. Probably bad." And so he went with us, Our kids, me and Andy's boys were in school together, and I was able to snag Andy, and now Andy and his son are our best gold miners. I mean, his son Dakota is just amazing. Hopefully, we'll get an airplane that can take a bunch of us, and hopefully Dakota will be our pilot. He wants to fly.
There you go.
Whatever put the idea of gold mining in you guys' head, collectively?
So when I was a kid, we grew up in Northeast Portland in the city, and my dad came home. He read the books, about gold mining. It was always interested him, and we were at a baseball game, and there was a guy there. So I got a claim up out of Fairbanks up on Deadwood Creek. And my dad's like, sounds good to me. And next thing you know, my dad's got a D8 and he built his own wash plant. I mean, my dad's just does it. We just do shit, right? And so next thing you know, I'm 14, 15, and we're mining 120 miles north of Fairbanks, and we are losing our ass. And we had a couple years of that, and then gold tanked. It went from 800 back down to 300 or 400 an ounce. And I always thought, you know what, someday we're going to go mine again, and I'm not going to let that dream die. And we got a chance, and I put the show together. We were able to get enough money to try to go mining again, and we went up and dropped down in Haines, Alaska.
We got another question for you. This one comes from the Augusta GPAA Gold Chapter. Have you ever been prospecting in the Southeast? And if you ever find yourself in Georgia, we'd love to show you around or host you at one of our chapter meetings and outings.
No, I've never prospected down in there. I don't.
They were on Dave Stern's show a couple months ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Tim
don't
and
know.
Bailey.
I don't know. I've never been down in there for gold. I mean, I've been down, to the area, but I haven't ever tried to pan any gold or anything like that.
It's actually hard. It's hard mining in the lower 48 for a lot of different reasons. When we came down to the lower 48 to have a team and to do what we do, we actually realized that there's a lot too many distractions. It's better to go someplace remote. Nobody can leave. You have to deal with your problems. You're just stuck there, and you just mine. And you have a season and a window of opportunity to do it, and you just do it. It's like when we were in Oregon and Colorado, people want to take off early on a Friday or go home for the weekend, or it's just like, no.
If you're a metal detector guy, we got some secret spots for you. Like, and some of it's on native ground. So, and I know who to talk to about some of that stuff. So
that would be interesting. Yeah.
Well, we watched what's his face. I don't know if he made the show. We don't watch the TV, so we don't know what hits the show. But we had a prospector come up there with a metal detector and was just crushing it. He had to hold a handful of nuggets one day.
Wow.
I found this metal detecting. It's an old lock that I pulled out of a tailings pile.
Oh, you know where I've seen that, guys, is it comes off a chastity belt.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
He was at
metal detecting. How come? Why are there's still a little bit of the season left? How come you guys aren't mining right now?
Hey, why don't you mind my business? Jeez.
So I went up there. We flew up there. I flew up there to the hill. So the road to where we're at does not open till the middle of June. So you can't even drive to the mine.
Yeah.
I flew in there in a helicopter April 15th. The road didn't open till about June 15th, and we did reclamation for almost 2 months, and then we could start getting food and stuff driving in and fuel, and then we finished it. And your season's about over. I mean, and then we decided that we needed to move. So then you got to spend your time moving, trucking, getting it on a barge before the Bering Sea freezes to get it to Anchorage. So it's like you kind of lost your window. So instead of losing 2 windows and having a month of sluicing, let's just get to where we need to get to for the next year. And because we're heading there now to try to get set up for next year. I mean, it's just time. You have just a small window of opportunity to get all of these things done that you need to get done. And this was the year to do it. Unfortunately, gold's at 2,500 ounces, and we're not mining. But
25.16 right now.
Yeah,
we will be though, and if it all goes like we think, which it never does, but if it did, I mean, even last year, like just part of our cut we did. We had one day where we did 120 ounces in one day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like, man, you don't, the second half of the cut, you could not see that the old timers had been in there and decimated. They had tunnels and they had really scraped it out. And this was early 1900s. You could not see tailing piles. You could not see entrance holes. You could not see exit holes. I don't know what they did. You couldn't tell they'd been in there. This is drilled ground that were in there, and they just gotten in there, and some guys snaked their way in there, and it was 4 ounces, 100 yards. I mean, it's rich ground.
Wow.
So we were killing it up to the point where we got into those old boys where they were messing with it. That's the reason why our overburden melted is we had too much water in it. Too much water in it from ice that came from tunnels. They filled up with water. So when we stripped, was the content, the water content was higher. Consider doing a show was to help small scale miners get going or prospect their claim. Like what you guys are doing right now, getting a machine, a keen box or whatever, learning your ground, learning your geology, and getting in there and doing it. Don't think. Okay, so I won't tell you where. There is a smelter, and an old man brings a coffee can of gold in every 4 months on his own. He's getting it off of BLM ground.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we don't know where he's getting it or whatever, and I don't care. But there are places out there, guys, where guys are just quietly getting good gold. Small time guys. So don't think that, that there are guys that are getting it. Now that doesn't mean everybody's going to do that. I'm just telling you that
It's possible.
some of those crazy stories are possible. And that's the fun and the chase, right? If we get in there and me and Andy get 5,000, say we get 3,000 ounces on our first year next year, that's $5 million,
Yeah. That's
right?
dope.
$5 million, like in a summer, guys. And who knows what the gold price will be then? That's $5 million today's price. So that'll get you out of the matrix pretty quick. So
Yeah. All right. We got another highlighted question for you. This one comes from Kevin Rascal on Instagram. He's been watching the show from the beginning. Is it just luck, or would you have had the same results as Parker if you were given his claims? And part two of his question, he wants to buy some of your gold. He doesn't want pay dirt. He just wants to buy some gold. So he says, I have Hoffman gold.
Probably, I sold that nugget. He had a chance to get that. That was mine. But as far as Parker, Parker's his grandfather was a miner. His dad has a huge mines, road building. He comes from that. He's a really good miner, right? He knows what he's doing. And when you watch the show, you don't see that there's 40 guys off the camera. You know what I mean? You don't know how many wash plants are out there running and things like that. But he's a very good miner. He knows what he's doing, and
He's got good ground.
He's got good ground. I tried to get that ground off Tony. Tony says that he didn't tell me no, but he told me no. So I don't know. So anyway, he's got really good ground. Well, good. That's okay. That's great. He's gonna, if he goes out and kicks butt, he's employing a lot of people. They're buying their food from Dawson. They're they're getting their parts. He's helping out Volvo. There's a lot of trickle down that happens with all of this stuff. It'd be nice if they hired some more camera guys from the United States or Canada, which they're trying to, but so there's a lot of good things that come from that. He's a much better miner than I am, and the thing is though that if I dedicated my life to mining, I would be a very good miner. But I have a really solid relationship with my wife. I have a life. I have children. I try to be a minister to people where I can, and try to do those are the things that matter, because if you just dedicate your life to one thing, like just to go get a bunch of gold, and what happens when you do?
That was one of my questions. I was wondering what you guys what did your whole crew do between Gold Rush and Hoffman Family Gold, the 2 or 4 years? How did you survive, support yourself, or did you have other things?
Yeah, we just kind of went back to our everyday lives. What we were doing beforehand. It just went. People. Thurber worked at a steel place. I went back into farming. I mean, everybody just kind of went back to their jobs. And the whole thing is that we always tell all the guys that do this, we're like, listen, if you're thinking you're going to get rich at this is the worst investment you could possibly ever go into, because most people fail at this. And we've had the luxury of being able to stay in it as long as we have. Todd spent a lot of money in us working with people that are way better than us. Todd always likes to hire people that are better, that know more. That's how you learn. And so we've learned a lot and been able to, to keep going on. But we just kind of went back to our own lives. And it was at a good time, because during the first years, our kids were young, so they were on the mine. They didn't really have a life. They just went wherever we did. All of a sudden, they started becoming teenagers. They'd never been home for a summer, so they needed a break. And our wives kind of needed a break. And we just said, they're more important than mining. And so we're going to stop. And it just is what it is,
And you're with a network that just decides they don't really like you. So like, if that happens, and you're getting pushed out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Like all of a sudden you're getting edited horribly and things like that. So you get, so I've had to weather a lot of that type of stuff. And it's just going to be nice to do a show, because to be honest with you, I know every shot, every camera, I know how to do it all, right? I know how to do every piece of this television show. And so it's because I'm not really a gold miner. I'm an entrepreneur, and I've done tons of different things, so if we put this together in the right way, Mine Boss is going to, open up an opportunity for somebody to come in and put their hard hat on and join our team and mine for a week. Now, I don't know what we do with gold, because we literally are going to get 20 to 40 ounces every day. Maybe a bad day we do 10, 15 ounces, but like, we're going to push some freaking gold out through the box. And so what do we do with that? How do we get the biggest human impact with the television part of it? How do we do the most amount of good with the TV? How do we encourage people that have just lost a son or daughter to suicide? How do we help guys? How do I, Andy and I haven't had perfect, our wives, it hasn't been easy, hasn't been perfect, but how do we encourage guys to stick with it? Because to know that there's some daylight coming for you boys, right? To hang tight. Those are the things, and that's the gold, right? The gold is gold, right? We love gold, and we chase it. And Andy works these guys hard, and we chase the gold. But dude, there's another gold here. There's some other gold here that is eternal. So how do we put these two together? And this is why I built Gold Rush. It got perverted.
Yeah.
Okay, it got perverted. And I didn't know how to hold on to it. I didn't know how to, I didn't know enough, right? And so I think we're going to get a fresh shot at this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to take me $1.5 million just to get the gear. And so it's scary for me, because if I'm on my own and if I can't get any sponsors to say, Todd, we love you, I know you're going to go streaming. We believe in you. Let's back you. If I don't get that, it's me. It's me and Andy trying to scratch money together, right? And we could lose it. And so it's scary for our families. But if we could put this thing together and really do it the way we want to, that we could not only hit real good gold physical gold, but also hit the freaking eternal gold in what we want to share, because we're going to reach millions of people. They're going to watch. I mean, it's going to watch.
So the Hoffmaniacs want to know, when's the album coming out? And
So if you go to Sandy Mule, which is, my wife hates our name of our band, okay? And we have an album out, and it's rock, kind of like 90s rock. But then you can hit up some of my stuff on different platforms and stuff. But Sandy Mule's our band, and every Sunday we have band practice. It's like I'm doing all the things I should have done when I was like 18, 19, because we're like 50-something-year-old guys, and we have band practice once a week, and we love it. But we play live concerts. I sang at the Walla Walla Music Fest. I feel like it, and then I went somewhere in Post Falls and sang the first music fest. I feel like I nailed it, like Sound of Silence. I sang Even I Can Only Imagine, and I hit. So some of the stuff I sing is actually kind of, it's a little intricate in trying to hit. I'm not just screaming along, I'm actually having to hit notes and hold them, and like, it's a little bit, for a guy that's not trained and professional singer, like, it's kind of scary for.
you didn't do too bad. I listened to it. It's not too bad.
Yeah, thanks,
You did all
man.
right.
Yeah.
You did all right.
I
I listened to it more than once. I listened to it more than once, if that tells you anything. All right, we got another highlighted question coming. How do you balance the work family aspect of your mining business? I know from experience working with family members has its benefits, but it can also add more stress to the relationships too. Is there a way you have found to deal with this delicate balance?
Like, you guys saw, I put out a song, a single called Promise, and that was written for me and Hunter, because you've seen our relationship be very strained, and there'd be times where he would, like, not like me, not like Andy, get up, and there's, you're up in Nome, it's rainy, it's gray, things aren't going great. And so, like, we've had a strained relationship, and so we've been really working on that and trying to figure that out. Also, when you're 20-something years old and your dad, you think your dad doesn't really know anything, but when you're 24, 25, you're starting to realize, maybe he did know what he was talking about on some of this stuff. And
Yeah.
it's hard when you're, but Hudson, my other son, is married and has 2 children, and they're just different. Every one of my kids, my daughter is 17, and they're all different. We've watched Dakota, his son, grow up, and he likes to mine, and so he's gone into it, and he's really our, one of our right-hand guys. He runs the crew, him and Andy, and like, we have probably the best mining crew and best mechanicking and stuff that we've ever had. Is we've had it, like, we have it right now. So
is Tater going up to the Yukon with you guys?
Yeah, he just got back. He had a little incident. I don't know if we could say what happened.
Maybe
a little
Maybe
something,
later.
something
Backstage.
something swelled up,
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Something swelled up.
and
Jesus Christ.
Andy had to take him to the hospital.
So you're saying he might have gotten to pop sildenafil?
I'm not. We better not say.
Yeah.
Hopefully, dear Lord, hopefully he doesn't see this.
All right, we got another question for you. This one comes from Dusty Little Digga via Instagram, and that is a picture of his dad. He says, "Hey Todd, would love a chance to follow in my dad's footsteps and come do some real mining with you. If you're hiring, would appreciate you consider putting me on your crew. Thanks, Dustin." I would say I got several hundred people asking the same question, so I picked the ones that sent good pictures.
Why that? I don't know. That's the whole point with Mind Boss, is I want to give a stronger connection to the fans. so that if this is a guy's dream, I want to see him and shake his hand. I want him to be able to come in and hang out with my dad and Thurber on a cleanup. I mean, people don't realize how bloody funny we are. It is fun. I got this one video, I won't post it, but like when you're bent over, you get grabbed from the back, and it is so fun.
Jesus.
I should play that. I got Tater and grabbed on him, and
It's always been our.
it's so funny. And then, but Thurber's funnier, dude. Thurber's the funniest guy you've ever hung out with. It's like it's hard to believe, but when they're doing a cleanup, I mean, if you can get like Big Tommy, our cook, he just cut his finger off like the other day.
What? Oh my God.
But like Tom will make some dinner, and then you get your dinner, and you're sitting in the cleanup room, and you're watching the table going, and Thurber's scooping in dirt, making fun of Jack, and Jack's saying stuff about Thurber. It's like so. It's like all is
Nice.
well. When we're on the gold, and we're in, here comes the helicopter.
Thurber and Jack, they've been in that gold room together for like what, 17 years now?
Yeah. And when you're in there, man, it's all is right with the world, man. When you're getting gold, and he said we're all happy. It's like in the man world, you cannot beat that. You're on the gold, your freaking plan's working, it's coming across the table. Tommy cooked meatloaf. I mean,
Sounds
all
good.
is well. All is well in the world.
Sounds
Man.
good.
You know, but to answer your question, that's always been our goal: is how do we include the fans? And it's like we feel that this is the place. Like we've come full circle, all the way back to the Yukon, and we feel like this could maybe be the home. This could be the place where we could start including people into it. And it's how you do that. We don't know exactly, but you got to get going first. That's always.
We're gonna reach out to the Gold Rush fans. We're gonna grab them, and they're gonna be part of this adventure. And
Nice.
all the networks and all their glory won't be able to stop it.
Well, that's one thing that I found
That's
out.
what it's all about.
Me being from here, stuck in the concrete jungle over here, I can't do much when it comes to gold mining. But when I had the opportunity to go down there and meet these guys, Jericho and the rest of them, and actually get in the river, actually run a wash plant, these are things that I've been watching you guys do since the get-go, and I never thought I'd have the opportunity to do it. So for
We
me,
put a 4-inch dredge. We put a 4-inch dredge in this Navy guy's hands, and he did not want to leave the water at all.
Yeah.
This guy.
to actually go up there to the Yukon would be something that would be part of my bucket list.
It's one of those things where I guarantee you that you're gonna be up there with us at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to ask the question.
The first thing, the first gift that was given to Jesus was gold. It's special when you put it in your hand. You feel it. It's like it's something special to it. It's always been like that for us, and so it's gonna be neat. And the guys that chase it, they get it. It seems like they get it. You know,
I never ever up there take one day for granted. That's like I'm always like, I'm so picking lucky. I mean, works 18 hours a day, 20 hours, whatever it is. It's like I'm never working. I love every second of it. So I get it. I get what you're saying. And that's what we want to do. We want to include the fans. We want to include people
definitely.
that can't get the opportunity to do it.
We are not perfect, but we will commit to trying to open up the best we can to be available to anybody that wants to touch the experience with us, right?
Yeah.
Just know that we're not just doing this. We're not trying to just do this for us. We really do have a deeper mission. It's a heavenly mission. And we're idiots. We're not perfect. We just don't, but we will try to open up this love of gold mining to, whoever that we need to touch. And we had a guy and his wife, and he was thinking about killing himself. And this might've been the last trip with the family, 2 little kids. And he came up to the mine, and of course the camera crew tries to send him off. And I found out we got him in there, and he hung out with Jack, and whatever Jack said that couple hours that he spent with him changed this guy's trajectory in life, and decided to go a different way than to end it. And so you get these letters here and there. Walked with a lot of people that said, me and my dad, this was our favorite show. My dad passed away. I just want to let you know that it meant a lot to me, right? Because this was a gift from God to me. Gold Rush came from God to me. Is it perverted now from the original? Yes. Does it still good? Yes. It's still, a lot of neat things. Or, it's just that the original mission has changed. And I would love to try to experience that, see if I could take another crack at this. And the TV part, let the TV part share things a little bit more real than just bullshit, And
Yeah.
so,
I gotta say, I work in addictions and mental health, and when I watch how you guys are with those guys, what really stood out for me, Andy, last year when you were talking to that young guy who was in addictions, and you pulled him, he had a meltdown, you took him off to the side, and you just had a real man-to-man, heart-to-heart with him. That kind of stuff you don't see on a mine site, and the fact that you guys are doing that and want to really be there for just people just shows what kind of characters of people you are, and it's nice to see, you know what I mean, especially in that kind of environment.
There was a guy that got cut out, that we cut him out of the whole show, and we got him out of a drug house. He's from our town. He used to coach baseball. And I got him clean once before, got him clean again, brought him up there, and he didn't make the show because he couldn't get it together. He just couldn't get it together. He just kept screwing stuff up,
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think he slipped some drugs into his suitcase. I don't know, but I completely cut him out of the show, but I really wanted that to be a good turnaround experience because, he can't. Our kids played sports together, and he's from our town. Now
you can't help everybody, right?
He's on the streets now. He didn't take that hand up, and so
I
really wanted to showcase that. It just turned into a nightmare with a lot of, But we have taken a lot. This kid that Andy was working with, he he was crying later because he was so thankful to be there.
Yeah.
But it's like, then you got Cowboy Carl, and he's like, dude, everybody, what's going on? And it's like, Cowboy Carl's like, buck up, and it's like, he's the best. Yeah, there's some guys that you never got to see that you're going to get to know that are phenomenal. We have some really cool guys now. Right?
That's awesome. I like the name Cowboy Carl.
He ropes, man. He's a roper. He ropes like every day. He's a real cowboy, no joke.
Trav's got a gold and silver belt buckle from rodeo.
Yeah, I used to be a roper and a ski wrestler as well.
He's at the Pendleton Roundup right now. We picked him up from Nome, and he went straight over to the rodeo.
Nice. Wow.
All right. We got another highlight for you. This one comes from 406 Miner out there in Montana. Todd, you ever thought of using silicone sluice mats instead of miner's moss or carpet?
I'm not familiar with those. Are they? What do they look like?
Silicone.
Here,
basically, Joe.
Yeah, I'll get one.
A lot of different shapes.
So this, true story. So he actually made me a sluice and mat when I first started out. In Wisconsin, there's a lot of super fine flour gold. And here's one of his cleanup sluices. he takes silicone, puts it into a mold, and then
Yeah, I've seen those.
gold sticks to that like no other. Like when the gold hits that silicone, it does not want to leave. And for at least for your cleanup system, it might be something you want to look at. He's trying to convert everybody. Friends don't let friends run carpet.
Okay. So
It does
what he
work.
likes to say.
It works on my little cleanup sluice very good.
Yeah,
Real
well,
good.
maybe we should try that like in our jigs and things like that. But we run unbacked, blue miner's moss, and then we have indoor outdoor underneath it.
Yeah.
So that fine gold can come through that, and we catch it in that green indoor outdoor underneath it, and that's how we've done it. Freddie Dodge kind of taught us that. He's a pretty awesome sluice guy. As far as moving dirt and everything, that's really not his forte. But just sluicing, he's really good at that. He's actually, one of the best. So
he's a wicked welder fabricator. Holy him and
really
Ron.
is a good fabricator too. People don't know, but he's super talented. He's got a really, really good gift for fabrication. I mean,
do you miss having Monster Red?
Monster Red is a great plant, and Big Red is a great plant. But I'm telling you, this Holy Roller is the best plant I've ever had because it's so simple.
Yeah,
it's just simple. With those big shakers, you got a lot of stuff going on, and you had your tailings conveyors and stuff. Forget it, man. It's just I went back to the simple and long 6-footer, and I run it with a WEG motor, and the controller. We spin it about 6-7 rotations a minute. We have a 40-ton rock truck bed that we dump into, and then we have a lot of bars up there. When it comes out, down through the screens, it's all we bring it out through the chute, divide it, and spread it out across our nugget traps, and those are hydraulic nugget traps. And I'm telling you that is way far superior than running expanded metal. It's like head and shoulders above expanded metal sluices. It's like unbelievable. And I can draw these things out. I can show you these. I mean, that's another cool thing is I can, show you some of these secret designs and stuff. We might as well start letting you guys see some of this stuff that a lot of people won't share.
Yeah.
Simple.
Right.
It's just
we got another one for you. Todd, this was an anonymous. If you knew then what you know now, what would you change and or do different? And in the second thing, he said, in the beginning, like if you had all of the knowledge you have of mining today, what would you have done differently in the beginning?
Probably everything.
That's yep.
Here's our wash plant. We stand by there, and we're having a conversation just like this. It goes, it's so quiet. It's so quiet, and it's like, and we're running 300 yards an hour.
That's crazy. Wow.
I mean, think about that, guys. I mean, it's kicking ass, and we're sitting there having a conversation, and so like we're down to the simplicity. Get rid of all conveyor belts. Forget that crap. Forget any feeders. Feed it with a good guy with an excavator that can see, that knows what's going on, so that it's not surging. But the Holy Roller will take and smooth those surges out. It'll spread it on down the trommel. It spreads it out in the hopper. It spreads it out down the tube going into the trommel.
Yeah.
The front end and back end are rolled in like 1/2-inch AR. It's really kind of a work of art. It's a really simple, nice. We're rolling it on 700 Volvo 700 rollers. But you can use cat rollers like the undercarriage, and it rolls on that. And if you keep everything tuned up, it doesn't wear much. And we go through just kind of a higher carbon, but not a intense punch plate. And the way it spreads it out and how it's turning the rock onto itself, it's going, we have little paddles, so we lift it a little bit. And the way we're spraying the water, I mean, we got this freaking thing down. Like, this plant is so simple.
Sounds pretty
all these
dialed in.
guys shaking and baking, and it's like, you can have it. I don't care about it.
You think that the show itself from the inception, Gold Rush, has actually changed the mining industry, and like a lot of you guys came up with these ideas that you incorporated into different wash plants and areas that way. Do you think the show had a big influence?
What I would do is this. I would set a goal. Okay, I started that. I created that whole thing. I'm going to get 1,000 ounces. I'm going to get 500 ounces. I set that. These are TV points that I'm trying to get you guys excited about. I name things. I name that's me. I created the plants, name them. I try to give them a character. I try to give them their own autonomy. Like machines, I name the machines. I name the plants. We name it. These are TV things. This is the TV producer in me, right? I'm picking Parker and his grandpa. Why? It's good TV. Okay. Is Parker a better miner? Winds up getting a lot more gold than me? Yeah, but trust me, man, it extended the life of the show. Every year we got extended. Me and Andy and the boys get paid, right? So, you can look at things a lot of different ways, right? You can look at it a lot of different ways. Would I have changed some things? I'm sure I would have, but I don't have a lot of regrets on how I dealt with people. Dave Turin, any of these guys, Jimmy Dorsey, or any of these guys, we made pretty good decisions. Like, I probably do almost all of them the same, how I dealt with guys. Now, how it looked on TV and how they spun it, I don't know. But we don't go through this thing treating people bad. And all these guys, you think they're getting gold. No. Nobody is giving out more gold in a gold rush than me. Nobody. Not Parker, not Tony, none of them. Nobody. So if you ask those guys, hey, you go ask them, like, how much gold they get from those guys. No, not anywhere close to what we give out. Nowhere near.
We got a pinned question for you from the NC Recluse Miner. He just picked up an awesome metal detector. He wants to know, when looking for new ground, what is the minimum acreage you would go for?
So we're going to eat up a lot of ground. So, like, what do you think, Andy? I don't think we'd look at anything that wasn't under 500,000 acres, something like that.
So when we did 3,000 ounces, we went through a little over 30 acres that season.
Okay.
So 30 acres, and in today's price would have been 5.5 million in gold. So we've done that before. So, but man, Andy we moved some dirt. We had 6 or 7 rock trucks, and
we sluiced 420,000 yards, and we moved 2.2 million yards.
Wow.
Yeah, for a minute. So these guys, when Andy did a push, we did like a 2 or 3 week push. The guys wouldn't take their clothes off
because they only did sleep for a couple hours.
They only had 2-3 hours to themselves. Like, I'm not kidding you. So we don't do that anymore, and we'd probably get in trouble for even saying that. But, like, these guys were like, we were moving some frickin' dirt. And the drill holes, this was at, I think they call it McKinnon Creek, down on the Indian River. The drill holes showed 4,500 ounces. We were going to smoke everybody that year, right? You get down there, and there's a bedrock hump that comes up like this, right in the middle of the cut. And that bedrock hump, all the gold got moved around it. And so,
Right.
like, that hump screwed us. And it didn't show up in the drill holes. So, like, it still kind of showed pretty consistent gold through this whole cut, and it wasn't. And so we got 3,000 ounces, but literally we were on track for 4,500 ounces, and we just an unforeseen thing in the cut, and that can happen anywhere. It can happen. It's happened this last year to us, you know. That's mining, man. You
just don't know,
Mm-mm.
right? Things can change underneath the ground.
Yep.
Rock Butcher says that your drill spacing wasn't tight enough, but you know that's who knows, right? What
You
kind
know,
of
you can drill and drill and drill, but you know, each drill hole costs you X amount of dollars. So like, and then who's drilling it? Because I had pretty good lines when I was at McKinnon Creek, but they were drilled by two different companies, and I don't know if they're any good.
right?
Who knows? You know,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
relying on these drill holes from like years ago. So yeah, you can never have enough drilling, but you know, drilling costs a hell of a lot of money. Are you going to drop $500,000 on your drill holes, or are you going to go for it? You know, sometimes you have to, you know, you have to kind of go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
I know Joe knows that. Joe's married, so he must have went for it at one point. So,
What kind of equipment are you guys looking at next year?
you give them our list, man.
Give them
our
a list. Yeah, come on, let's go shopping.
Write this down, guys, because we need help. If you got one of these things at home sitting around, we may need your help. Go ahead, Andy. What's our list?
Like a 90-ton hoe, probably a 60-ton hoe, probably a 30-ton hoe, a couple 40-ton haul trucks, probably, you know, a 40-ton loader. Just to kind of probably need like at least 6 pieces to kind of get us going. You know, doesn't have to be brand new, but it needs to run every day.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing with so many hours on it.
You'll know when I don't get a sponsor. You'll know when you see me in like a 1995, you know,
yeah.
Pinto, Ford Pinto.
What was the name of your first wash plant? Coming in from Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Tech.
Our first wash plant was
Porcupine, I guess, wasn't it?
Porcupine, and it was horrible. I think it was too bad to name. I can't remember. Then we got that Little Blue plant.
Oh, Little Blue.
Little Blue, right?
Yeah.
And that thing was kind of a train wreck too, but it worked kind of. But yeah, and then we went on to some of those others. You know, we got Big Red and Monster Red.
We had the trommel, that trommel that didn't work.
Oh, that's right. We had that big blue trommel. I don't want to bag on it, but I didn't like that. Super.
Was that the one you had in Colorado?
No.
Oh.
That was that double barrel thing.
The double barrel. Yeah.
Now, if that ain't for TV, I don't know what is, guys. You're welcome.
So
Right here, buddy.
How do you guys?
Side trommels. Nobody's ever done that, right? There you go.
that's right.
How about
So we got Rock Butcher said, once you get that low hanging fruit out of the way and are looking for what might be ahead, look me up. He'll drill and map it out for you. I'll send you his information so you guys can chat. He is on LinkedIn. I'll send you his real name and number and stuff like that.
As long as he's not on Tinder, we're good.
Yeah,
or Grinder.
Or Grinder.
Or Tinder, then I'll call him.
Do you do any LiDAR scanning on your sites?
We did some LiDAR, and I can't remember when. Was that last year? Year before last year. Yeah, it kind of can maps things out pretty good. Can give you some snapshots, tell you what some of the old owners have been there.
Was that Hunter bringing in that technology?
We brought in, I think it was Lance's son, Lance Baller, and his son came out and they did some light art. I don't know what makes the show because I don't watch TV, so I don't know
Right.
what makes people tell me, like, hey, this made the cut, and your son and you and your son are bad to each other, blah blah blah, whatever. But we're doing good. Hunter went to work out. He's in jiu-jitsu right now. He moved back from Miami. He's working on some stuff here, and hopefully
Nice.
he'll come up and do some mining with us this next year. But we don't know. We're putting it all together. So my next phase is to go talk to some equipment guys and say, hey, we're going to go a straight show. We're going to be streaming. We may be on Amazon. We may just be Facebook, YouTube, but I want every single person that wants to see this show, whether they got a subscription or not, you're going to be able to watch it. And so that's what I want. Yeah. I want you to be able to see it, not have to be subscribed to this Joker thing or that. I don't care. So hopefully we can pull that off.
So in our community, we have a variety of treasure hunters. We got gold prospectors, rock hounds, crystal diggers, metal detectorists, the weird magnet fishing people. I'm just kidding, Grandma Kelly. We love you. But one of them, East Coast treasure hunters, is Todd. Do you do any other forms of treasure hunting, be it relics or lost treasures? What's your favorite find? Thanks for all you do, Hood Million Treasure fan. East Coast treasure hunter.
So I tried to put a show together where we go after treasures in the Middle East, digging up artifacts and things like that. And so we got a chance to go and look at a bunch of artifacts that were actually owned by the Nazis that were kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark. We actually got into a warehouse that had a bunch of these artifacts in there, and I got to see some crazy stuff. Philistine sword. I got to hold a Philistine sword. There was a climate controlled room that had a bunch of weird stuff in it, guys. I mean, crazy stuff. And it came supposedly from Buenos Aires, from Adolf Eichmann.
Oh,
wow.
So I'm interested in a lot of that stuff, Middle East stuff. And so, yeah, but overall, my buddy has those claims that are down there in Florida where all the galleons crashed.
Yep.
So you'll see some of the artifacts those are on his claims, and he's invited me out to go on some snorkel stuff. But I'm trying to figure out what I would look like in a wetsuit, and probably not good.
So from what I don't use a wetsuit, I'm fluffy, so I don't get that cold. Like the mountain water here is cold. I was around 48, 49, but I'll go down in Crocs, flip flops. Granted, grew up in Wisconsin. It doesn't get cold down here in North Carolina.
Yeah. Why did I know you had Crocs on? You got them on right now, don't you?
Nope, I got some Hey Dudes on right now.
Oh yeah. We wear those now. I got Andy. Andy got a pair of Hey Dudes. That's pretty big for just a cowboy guy to wear Hey Dudes. That's a big transition.
They're super lightweight.
I don't even know what a Hey Dude is. I've never even seen one.
Hey Joe, they're not for everybody. Eventually they'll get to the Bronx.
All right.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna, since you were talking about the artifacts thing and traveling around, I was wondering, was it the network's idea or was it your idea? And how do you feel about the episode where you went down there to Guyana to do some mining?
Oh boy, brought up Guyana.
Yeah, we brought it up.
How'd you like to get up every day for 4 to 6 months and never have a pair of dry underwear on, huh? How'd you like that? Okay.
He was in the Navy, so I'm sure he lived that for a while.
Yeah. No, it was crazy down there. We got to do some stuff that was I thought we were gonna die at least 10 times. Like
It looked like it was rough.
Andy ripped up the only patch of blacktop. When you leave Georgetown, Guyana, there's one road that's got blacktop on it, and we accidentally took a dozer down it.
The guy told me.
Yeah, some idiot guy going this way, and I look back, and he's throwing blacktop up off the back of the dozer and way into the sky, and all the locals are coming out from their cabins ready to kill us.
Oh,
I
hey.
go, stop. I go, stop. I go back up, and he goes, tuk, 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 tuk. He goes, tuk, 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 starts backing up real slow, and I get out a roll of cash, and I go, back our way. I go, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. It's like, we backed our way out of that street. I remember looking back, and dude, we freaking took a tractor down there, one strip of blacktop, and we laughed so hard after that, dude. I was handing out hundreds like this, and $100 in the jungle is like they would kill. You could have a guy killed for $20 US. Jungle.
Wow.
Like, yeah, you could have 5 guys killed for $100 in Guyana, and so like I'm handing out hundreds, and we're backing up. Sorry, I'm so sorry. And I mean, these guys were not playing this. Like that wasn't funny. And so just
Whose
like,
idea was it to go down there?
I
see Andy goes,
had a lot of bad ideas. No, you had a bad idea. I mean, you grew up in the Bronx. I mean, come on.
That's right.
You need to get out in
What-
the country, man.
The thing is,
What is the deep?
the creek that we were on, they had gotten a 60-carat diamond out of it, and it had gold in it. Problem was, by the time he was there till the time we got back, somebody had come in and mined it.
Yeah. So you
Wow.
got all these Amerindians. And let me tell you, there's a people in the jungle that are about this tall, like maybe 4
4'5", 4'10".
4'5" tall, and they're Amerindians, and they're true native Indians. I don't know, they're descendants from Mayans or whatever, but they're little people. And we hired some of them, and they're awesome. I hired this little guy. His name, no joke, his name is Alvin, and he worked for us. And we would be out in the hot, and we'd be sitting there working together, and he's just happy. But that's the native people in the jungle, and you can't. I don't care if you own the claim or not. What are you going to do when they roll in and they start mining your area? That's their country, and they've been.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? Kick them all out? I mean, there's like they come rolling in and they just freaking decimate the jungle. I mean, it's what's happening down there is really bad. It's like Brazil, all those countries down there, they're just crushing the jungle. And, you know, and it's not like, oh, I support gold mining. And I mean, there's no regulation. It's getting, and
there's no reclamation at all either.
no,
Like,
we're the only ones in the country that we know of that reclamated when we left. And nobody's reclamated since. Nobody. It is like we made it pristine when we left, and
And we didn't have to, but we
Yeah.
did anyway.
Yeah.
so,
good
but it
job.
was,
What did-
dude, it was a cool experience. It really was. I mean, we freaking built a compound, a 185-foot building that we called the Ark, and we lived in it, right? And we all lived together. Nobody got malaria. And we did it, man. We like moved logistically, moving gear and the
Yeah.
stuff we had to do just to get the gear down there. I mean, I don't think they covered it very well. They didn't cover it properly because we did some really neat things down there and that didn't make the show. Because you know,
Yeah, all
watching
they-
you jump around and get highlights, and this guy wants to hit this guy with a wrench and stuff. But this is the kind of thing that I really want to like. Let's bring it back and show some of the more real things that are going on in how, like we're gonna go look at Clear Creek, and I want to throw some drones in the air, and I want everybody watching to say, I want them to be sitting there with us making that decision. Where do we start? Where do you want to start? Right?
That's awesome.
All right. So my diver, I got a diver, diving with Scuba Steve. He does search and recovery diving. He said, I got a diver for the deep part. I don't have to do that. He commented that down in chat. And then we got NC Recluse with another question. What is the deepest play layer you have chased? And what is the deepest you're willing to chase?
Man, economically, I don't know, Andy. What do you think? 25 feet?
25 feet's the deepest we've gone. It just would have to be super, super rich to go. I mean, it's just got to be rich.
We
to go
went
deep.
really deep in Oregon. That was deep.
We went 140 to bench down.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was a nightmare.
Just because it was so deep, we dug probably 100 feet down on the side to make it legal to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Without just digging
Nice.
a hole.
That was probably the deepest we ever went down in. But 25 feet, you know, it's that frozen mud. If you're stripping that, man, you got to have a big dozer. You're dropping the ripper, the amount of fuel that sucker's burning and tips and just everything. It's crazy.
You know, like a D11, we had D11s and it's 1,000. I mean, I'd run the dozers 20 hours a day. It's 1,000 gallons a day. So it's not cheap.
Wow.
Have you heard of the Skull Rock Lost Treasure, Prineville, Oregon?
Prineville, yeah.
Prineville.
No, I haven't heard of that, but it's not far from here. It's only an hour and a half from my house.
And then let's see, where's the next question? Did I do this one already? I think we know this guy. This comes from Lone Horse Mining and Prospecting. Todd, thank you for introducing Gold Rush to me and my family and showing what never giving up on your dreams looks like. To those out there that criticize you, your team, and some of your decisions, what would you say to them if they were in front of you now via the YouTubes?
You know what? I have love for these guys, and it's if they were really there, they would see. You know, some of the guys that hate it, you know, the haters out there, they would feel a lot different if they spent a little time with us. They would know who the real ones are, right? And they would be with us, and they would, you know, if they were to pick any crew, they'd want to be with us because we really would care about them personally. Not the bottom line. It would not come between us and how we represent, you know, ourselves. So it's okay, man. I mean, it's like there's a lot of people that you know, even the haters, it drive the energy that bring the ratings. You know, you got to remember at some point, you know, we would one of the top shows in the whole world, right? 200 countries, 120 languages. I mean, I remember walking in downtown New York and seeing my picture on bus stations and things like that, right? I was once in a lobby and Dr. Phil walked in and said, "Hey, Todd, how you doing?" "Hey, Todd." And I was just staring at him like, what? So, like, you know, at some point, you know, these things, it's been cool to do, right? It's been fun but the haters that love, say, Parker or something that hate me, it's okay, man. Like Dakota Fred, he's a friend of mine. I got a chance to talk to him, you know, before he passed away and share with him. And I would talk to him all, you know, pretty regularly. I helped start that show. A lot of people don't know that. I got paid some money just to help Fred get that show going.
A lot of people forget where Carlos comes from.
Yeah. you know, so there's after my tale is over, I'm gonna expose some crazy things to you guys, and you guys are gonna laugh your ass
We're,
off.
we'll host it. We've heard
I'm
some good
excited
stuff.
for that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited
it's
for
gonna be
that.
fun. But as far as
So-
getting up to our mine, we need a good name for our mine, and I've been thinking about it. Something that is just really cool that people remember, and that brings some pretty cool feelings to mind. I don't know. I don't have that yet, so maybe you guys think up something cool. Who's this hillbilly samurai guy?
All right, so this is the fellow that made the pen for you.
Oh wow!
Don't trust him. He's weird. Okay.
All right.
He's from Arkansas, so that explains everything.
When I heard that this was going to happen, I made you a special pen that I thought you'd like, but then I thought I'd give you an option. The one I made was a footprints pen. Well, it says, when you saw one set of footprints, that's when I carried you.
Yeah.
But now the one I've got for you is made out of real Bethlehem olive wood. But I have a pen that I made two of, and I had kept one of them just for a special occasion. You might not like it, but
Oh wow, that's cool.
and it is bolt action, so
That is sick, kind of.
right
Wow.
there.
I'll take
the
that.
other-
I'll take that one. How about you guys? What do you? I think we need.
Oh,
you need
yeah.
to start selling these bad boys, my friend.
Oh, I'm already doing that. I've got a shop there in Branson called the Trump Store that's carrying my product, and then a few other
wow.
places. But this one here is the one that I've been carrying personally, and I swore I was never going to let it go anywhere. But if you would like a liver action,
Really?
yes. So it's up to you. Just let us know, which one you like.
Yeah, that's
And
cool, man.
and
It's
matter of fact,
It's kind of a strange hobby, but it's pretty cool. I'm going to be honest with you.
well, I've been doing woodworking. I've been doing woodworking for decades. I'm a
Okay.
programmer and all kinds of stuff. I'm like you. I'm an entrepreneur. I got a marketing company and some other
There
stuff.
you go, man.
But I mean, even stuff like this is a pen.
Oh wow.
So
Is that a pool cue?
yeah, it's a pull
Yep.
cube, but you just unscrew it. You've got a pen. It's got a stylus. I mean, it's unusual. They also have lifetime warranties. It's a hobby, really.
Oh,
And that's why I like giving them to people. I'm sure you're familiar with Home Free, the band, the a cappella group.
no.
Oh, okay. You need to check them
How
out.
come I don't know them?
I'm not sure. They've gotten pretty good. Them and Voice Play and Pentatonics are the three bigs right now.
Oh yeah, I know those guys. Yeah.
They all use hillbilly pens.
My
So
my daughter wants to do a kind of some Christmas album together and stuff. So I just got to get the time and then get into the studio with her. But I sing once a week, and I try to sing more to try to get. So I can sing about an hour and 15 minutes now live. And
I've got a music studio right here. I'm doing some music for the International Christians Ministries for their Vacation Bible School music.
okay,
So that's something that I've admired you for your music.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So
Yeah. All right. Well,
So
I
we
think
got
we're
one more.
You got one more?
I got one more weird request.
Okay.
So, and this isn't the weirdest. Would you be interested in helping me in my paperclip challenge by trading some Hoffman family gold or items? What he has to trade is $295 in silver. He's got the last stand matching serial number set, proof and enameled, 1982 Rough Times Convention trade dollar, an MS-70 2021 Poseidon coin. So if you have any interest in helping him with his paperclip, he started with a paperclip and has made his way trading all the way up to that. And he believes he's stuck now because he doesn't have gold in for a trade.
I don't even know what that is, but we can probably figure something out. I got
All right.
Got some nuggets too that I need. Some of your people out there that are really good at cleaning them and getting them to look pretty badass might be kind of fun too. But
Okay.
that's another cool thing too, is that, I want to identify a lot of these nuggets next year, and then we can put them out there for people if they want to pick them up,
Oh yeah.
So I got some really pretty cool ones. Not this summer, but last summer. Yeah, pretty good ones. So I just want to tell you guys thank you for having us. We'll try to do this again, and then once we figure it out, I can put it out on some of my other platforms and things. But
And
Yeah, we appreciate you coming up, Todd and Andy.
we definitely
Yeah, very
Definitely
informative.
appreciate
I enjoyed that.
Matter of fact, I'm going to send both of those pins. I want you to give one of them to Andy.
Okay.
yeah, get on the end.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Seriously, we're thankful for you guys. And as we get going, we're all of our gear is sitting in Nome, waiting to get on the barge. It goes across the water over to Anchorage. I have a trucker waiting there to take them up to Toke. You can follow the map, go over the top of the World Highway, across the ferry, the Yukon, into Dawson, and then we're going to set our stuff in a yard and wait for our for next year. And we're going to break camp next year. Hopefully, we'll have some rolling stock, and then we can get going. So
awesome.
I can't wait to get up there. I'd love to mine in Alaska.
all right,
Me and Joe are coming up, Todd.
okay. That'll be good. You guys are personally invited by us. So
Awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you
that.
very much.
yeah,
Thank you.
And Todd said he's going to be sending the Treasure Fam an autographed headshot to go in our next fundraiser donation auction. So
I think we need one of
somebody
Andy
out there.
too.
Yeah, Andy, where's your headshots?
what's that, Andy?
Where's your headshots?
He doesn't even know what that means.
Oh, now wait a second.
Andy's lost almost how many pounds? 50 pounds.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, he's getting ready. Now it's my turn. I'm getting there. I'm on getting going on some new weight loss shots. So we'll see how
There you
this
go.
goes. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Nice
All right,
meeting
buddy.
you.
Todd.
Thanks for joining us.
All
See
right.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right, got to change the layout. That was an
Wow.
awesome show.
There you go. There's Todd
Oh,
Hoffman
wrong
and Andy Spinks. Thanks everybody for joining. We
Yes,
appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
And
Yeah, so we have Fred coming up. We've got quite a few other awesome TV personalities and TV stars that we'll be having up on the live stream on our Tuesday talks with the Treasure Fam.
yeah,
I hope we
I'm
made
excited.
it enjoyable for you all.
yeah.
That had some interesting,
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
a lot of interesting information in there.
Yeah, very much so. It went rather well.
And don't forget to smash that thumbs up no matter what, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or whose Facebook or YouTube you're watching on. It helps us and we appreciate it. We're going to drop our outro and go backstage. Joe, you want to drop?
On the horizon, the sun is rising. One more sleepless night goes by. My mind ponders as I sit and I wonder why I do this to myself.
Night, everybody.
Good
Night,
night.
you too.
Bye.
Take care.